kid. Do you see him yet?
I
We went
don't.
to the Avoca Fair yesterday.
Hmm?
We went to the Avoca Fair yesterday.
How'd that go?
Really well.
Did Russia's do well?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
One, two.
you know.
They won.
Oh, wait. The game wasn't yesterday.
Oh, it's not.
I think it's today. T-shirt.
I get pretty stiff going up them steps.
You know, my knees are killing me. I've been out trying to clear arms and shed, and let me tell you, that's 40 years worth of crap that I have no clue what half of it is. You know, I put it in piles. I'm like, all right, this looks like this, and this looks like this, and then when I catch Jake for 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, Jake, what's this and do we need it? What's this and do we need it? Yesterday I was sending my brother-in-law pictures of things, and I said, BJ, what's this? And, you know, he'd send me a picture and or tell me what it was and what it was used for. But then, you know, I have all these piles on the bench, and he circled these two things that were stacked, and he said, throw those in the junk pile. Those are something, and ball bearings are not in them. He said, that's junk. I'm like, all right, I'll throw them away then. You know, and I'm like, all right, BJ, I've got 3 or 4 U-joints in boxes. You know, they're brand new, they're in boxes. And I said, the only place I know where to use them is on this manual cigarette. I said, is there any place else I can use them? And he said, no, they're probably junk. You know, because I don't know what else. I mean, we don't have a manual pickup anymore. So I don't know. That's kind of sad. Yeah. Good morning. Good. Is it okay if I connect us here or something? I'm already on, so don't even have to worry about it.
I just got to hold the cussing down and all of that.
You don't even have to worry about mine.
Okay. All right.
Thanks. My watch is telling me my phone is left behind. Oh, there's my favorite girl. She looks exhausted. How you doing, Sadie? Well, I hope not.
Hey, Bob. How are you? Uh-oh.
Good.
Oh, no. Okay. No, that never happened to me.
Bob. Rick probably had the name wrong. It was probably Bill Gray or somebody like that.
You're at her again. Where do you want to sit?
The other day when Roger was riding with him. Yeah. We got done with the north piece. Carol's up in the yard. I better go tell Mom I'm going with you to the south place. And I said, okay. And he says, well, let me out up here. I said, all right. He was getting out, and he got to the bottom step, and he turned around, don't you leave me. I said, oh, I won't. Just serious as hell.
He does that to me too. If he knows I'm going to go somewhere, don't you leave till I come out, Dad. I won't.
Laugh.
Like this.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Montgomery County Fair Beef Show. Our judges here, our beef superintendents are here, and what we have for livestock is here. We got some really nice calves for the kids to show you. A few introductions. Here's our two beef superintendents. Mr. Lathan Gray right here, better known as Elmo, and Austin Sorensen. And our judge today is the same one we had last year. Glad to have him back, Mr. Nate Ruby from Murray, Iowa. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Welcome back, Nate. Our first class of registered heifers is a registered main. That heifer is shown by Taylor Yates. Give you a little information on our judge today. Nate is a Simmental breeder, like I say, from over around Murray, and he runs about 300 cows, Simmental cows over there. He has a bull sale every year, and also has a production sale of females. So if anybody's looking for some good Simmental cattle, talk to him. I've seen his cattle, and they're really nice.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back this morning. We were just talking. Last year, we moved the show up an hour because we were right smack dab in the hottest day of the year, and it sure is enjoyable this morning. The weather is, and we're getting ready for the big heat wave. But happy to be back and happy to work with your young people here. Nice way to start off the class here in our main, or start off the show here in our main class. A heifer, when she's parked and standing there and giving you that side view profile, one you sure have to appreciate. She's really nice through that front 1/3, very elegant about her head, neck, and jaw. Her neck attaches high out of her shoulder. You get behind her, she's stout made, she's big hipped. You got to appreciate that. She's got some turn to her rib shape. If we're going to get a little picky on that one, when we put her in motion, she maybe doesn't handle that back leg with as much ease, is not as confident when she picks it up and puts it down. But like I say, that's getting awful critical on a really nice female there to start off our show. Let's give that young lady a nice round of applause, if you would.
Thank you, Nate. Receiving our purple was Taylor Yates. Now into the ring comes Mackenzie Henneman. She is a registered maintainer.
Yeah. Elmo, grab it. That's $5, please.
Are they? I was like, okay.
Charge it.
Another nice single entry here in the maintainer division. This young lady's stout made heifer here is one you sure got to appreciate for her mass and her dimension. I like that about her. She's sure adequate in her look through that front 1/3. I like that. You got to love her substance of bone and added circumference of bone there when she goes. Much like the last heifer, I guess, when she's parked and on the side view profile, you really, really like that one. We put her into motion, just like to free her up, make her a little bit more confident in the way she sets down that back pasture, and she'll get just a little bit upright as she goes, but once again, being real critical on one that's got an awful lot of good pieces here in the maintainer division. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause.
That was Mackenzie Henneman. She receives a purple for her registered maintainer. Next into the ring is Darcy Henneman with her registered main Angus.
Here in our main Angus division, one that's just got cow power wrote all over. You got to love her easy flesh and look. She looks like she's ready to go out to the pasture and convert grass to pounds, and that's something I really appreciate about this one. I like her head and her neck design. She's really attractive, very feminine through that front 1/3. You get behind her, she's got a lot of added rib shape. I love that. You get from the side, she's soft-sided. Really excels in terms of foot size and bone work. That's something that's sure working to her advantage as well. Going to get critical on this one a little bit when we set her into motion. She wants to get up in her spine a little bit and just would like to relax her from that aspect as she moves about the ring. But boy, there's one that you could have 1,000 of, and that you'd be in the beef business for a long, long time. Let's go ahead and congratulate this lady, the young lady, on a nice single entry.
That heifer was shown by Daisy Henneman, and she receives a purple. Next into the ring is commercial heifers. First in the ring is Chloe Bruce with her commercial heifer. Second into the ring is Madison Burke. This is our first class of commercial heifers.
We'll start off our commercial heifer show here. We kind of have two different types and kinds, and boy, the one that starts a class does so pretty handily for me. Just one that when she comes in, she sure grabs your attention. You got to love that, the way that heifer comes at you in that front 1/3, just super striking, extremely elevated in the way her neck attaches to her shoulder. Really like that about her. You put her in motion, she's good in that top line. You got to love the foot and bone size. She's clean jointed. You get behind her, and one that from the side you'd sure maybe wonder if is this one going to be stout enough, but you step in behind her and she sure doesn't disappoint you from there. Young lady's got her in nice condition to show as well, and fresh, and I appreciate that. Just a nice one to go ahead and start the class there. Young lady's heifer here that comes in next. Just a good brood cow prospect for this young lady. She doesn't come with as many bells and whistles as the one that goes right in front of her, but a really sound, structured female, one that's got that easy keeping look to her. She's ready to go out and make this young lady a lot of money here in the next few years out in the pasture. Let's go ahead and give these two a nice round of applause, if you would.
The results of our first class of commercial heifers. First place went to Chloe Bruce with a purple. Second went to Madison Burt with a blue. Now comes into the ring is our second class of commercial heifers. Daisy Henneman and Delaney Yates.
That's it. $5. That didn't work there either.
Do a purple and a blue again, Bob. On our second class of commercial females here, we kind of got a couple different types and kinds, and I guess depending on where you want to put your preferences, we could probably switch these, and I wouldn't argue with you a whole lot, but I'm the one that gets paid the big bucks today, and so I'm the one that gets to make the ultimate decision. I like this heifer's design. I like the added maternal look in her center portion of her body, and to me that's what probably makes her excel in this particular class. I'll be the first to admit I'd like to trim this heifer up a little bit. I'd like to shave a little bit of weight off and just kind of take some of that condition. But there's some give and take with that as well. We've had plenty of easy feeding ones on feed, and when they're like that, it can be hard to take off some of that weight sometimes. And them easier doing ones, let's face it, when we make cows out of them, that's the kind of animal we're after. But we get past that, and this heifer from her side view profile, she's got she's acceptable, I think, through that front 1/3. She opens up into a big rib cage, We get her in motion. She handles her feet and legs good. You get around behind her, and she's stout made, and I like that about her. The young ladies that comes in second, I'm not taking anything away from this heifer, probably the more feminine, more angular heifer of the two. She just doesn't balance up quite as nice for me when we view her from the side. She gets a little deeper in her neck and pushes a little bit of brisket. And where I really would like to change this one is in her center body. I'd like to pull her heart down, give her a little bit more depth of body when we view her from the side. Square her hip up ever so slightly. The one thing I do appreciate about this female, she's big-footed, she's loose jointed, and when we put her in motion, she can sure get out and go about the ring. Two nice heifers here in the commercial division. Let's go ahead and give them a nice round of applause, please, too.
Thank you, Nate. That was our second class of commercial breeding heifers. First in the purple went to Delaney Yates. Second in a blue went to Daisy Henneman. We'll now be selecting the champion and reserve commercial breeding heifer. As our judge is selecting our champion and reserve commercial breeding heifer, I look around in here at the people. How many of you remember showing over on the baseball diamond? Raise your hand. How old are you, Chris Nelson?
Not as old as
I guess how to put it, that was the good old days, wasn't it? Tied our calves out underneath the bleachers and showed on the ball diamond. And a lot of the classes, there was up to 30 head in a class. Angus, Shorthorn, and Herefords was primarily the breeds. Does anybody remember who was the first female that showed a champion market animal? If you do, come and tell me. The first female that showed a champion market heifer at the Montgomery County Fair. Look it up on your phones. Dale Spencer, you got any idea?
Well, here in our commercial heifer drive, we got our silver colored heifer, silver blaze face heifer, and then our red blaze face heifer here. And I think both are real high quality, a little bit different in their types and kinds. I think you have the real striking, more angular type female there that wins our first class in the commercials. Awesome from the side, one that just grabs your attention and holds it. We put her in motion, and she's really good in the way she handles her feet and legs and her structure. One that I can sure appreciate a good deal. We got the real easy fleshing red heifer here that comes out of the second class. One that sure is gives you a nice look from the side as well. Really stout made, extra powerful. I do like that about her. sure sufficient when we put her into motion. Like I said, when we, if I'm going to get a little picky on that one, I'd like to just trim her up ever so slightly, give her a little bit more freshness in terms of her condition. I guess for me, it does come down to these two class winners in our commercial division. The young lady with the silver blaze face heifer, she's going to be your champion. The young lady coming out of your second class, she's going to be your reserve. Let's go ahead and give them a nice round of applause.
Showing the champion commercial heifer went to Chloe Bruce. Reserve went to Delaney Yates. Now our judge will be selecting the grand and reserve grand breeding heifer overall. And the sponsor for this grand champion breeding heifer is Chris Nelson of Nelson Simmentals and Angus. Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer sponsors are Dave and Kathy Hart. We sure want to thank all of our sponsors, and they decided that after the champion and reserve are picked, go back here to the backdrop, and they want to take your pictures with the calves and the judge.
Oh, okay. Dale Spencer thought it was Carol Means, John Means' daughter, but he didn't know for sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, maybe, you know, just interesting, you know. Yeah.
Out here in our champion heifer drive, obviously we haven't seen a whole lot of numbers, but I think the one thing that needs to be brought, you know, to attention first and foremost, there wasn't a bad one that come through the ring here in the heifer show. I mean, top to bottom, Every heifer that's come through sure got some merit in their own right, and I guess the exhibitors here, the young people, are to be commended for bringing some quality to town. I sure appreciate that. We could talk about them just a little bit here. There's just a handful of them to go through, but our high main heifer that comes out of the first class, that young lady, she gets her stuck and gets her on point there from that side view profile one you just absolutely love. Just paints a silhouette like you want to see in all your breeding females. Very nice in that front 1/3, good in her top line, big rib cage, very adequate in foot and bone. I like that about her. You step in behind her and she sure doesn't disappoint you. You got to appreciate her for that extra spring of rib that she offers. Like I mentioned in class, we put her in motion, maybe like to loosen her up just a little bit off her rear end, but I'll tell you what, out here in the championship drive, I think after she's got her show ring jitters out of her, I think she's moving better than she did to start off the day in that first particular class. Stout and burly, rugged made type of female here that comes out of the maintainer division, added foot and bone. I like that about her. She's soft-sided as well. Maybe not quite as striking from the side compared to the one that comes in right before, but a lot of cow power in that female too. Put her in motion. We'd just like to give her a little bit more authority when she sets down on those rear two pasterns. The main Angus female here that comes third in our lineup, just like I said in class, full of cow power, easy fleshing, one that balances up extremely well. She's big-footed, she's big-legged. I like that about her as well. Not the hair coat is a couple right above her or behind her, but what you see is what you get, and that's a high-quality female that comes to us there out of that class. Like I mentioned in class, we put her in motion. She wants to get a little bit more up in her top, just like to relax her there in that portion of her skeleton when we put her in motion. But a good cow prospect there for that young lady. And then here in our commercial division, a heifer here that sure hits you hard when she come in the ring. Elevated in that front 1/3, super striking. Love her bone work, love her athleticism. She's right in her condition. You get in behind her, she sure doesn't disappoint you. She's one that checks a lot of boxes for me. She's going to be go ahead and be your champion breeding heifer here today. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause. Congratulations.
Champion breeding heifer goes to Chloe Bruce. Now we'll bring the reserve commercial heifer in to compete for reserve.
We sold out quick. I guess I gotta listen to you.
Yeah.
It does get a little tighter here when we go to pick our reserve champion heifer. I think all four of them sure have some merit. They're all four in contention for me. I guess there is one that probably checks the boxes and does it the best for me, and that will be the young lady that come out of our first class. She's going to be a reserve champion heifer. Let's go ahead and give her congratulations, if you would.
Reserve goes to Taylor Yates on her registered main heifer. Congratulations to all of these kids that showed breeding heifers today. These heifers will go home and make them a lot of money, I'll guarantee you that. They stay in the herd 10, 12 years, and at cattle prices they are today, they're about after 10 years, they'll have about 20,000 in their pocket. They're gonna take pictures now, so you sponsors, Nelson Simmental's and Dave and Kathy Hart, if you go back to the backdrop and get your pictures taken. We'd appreciate that. And then we'll start up again with our bucket bottle calf class. We've had a few guesses on who was the first female to show a champion steer at the Montgomery County Fair, and seems like their name always come up Means. But the lady from the extension office said she'll go look it up on the computer to make sure. Just interesting to me who was the first female. Austin down here. His little boy is here. I seen him, Jensen. And him and his wife are expecting another little baby in August, right, Austin? You know what it is? Good. That way it'll be a surprise, right? Just hope everything comes out fine. Our judge is back in the ring, and we're ready for our first class. It's a bucket bottle calf, and it is being shown by Noah Confer. Yeah, give him a nice round of applause. Boy, he's got that calf broke. It didn't.
We will. All right, bud. What's your name?
Noah.
Noah, can you tell us a little bit about your calf and tell us how you care for him at home?
So every day we feed her in the morning and at night. We make sure she has water every once in a while, and then we weed her every night.
Nice. Did you? How long has she been off a bottle for?
About a month.
Okay. Can you tell us how you broke her to lead?
Well, we just started working her day after day, and then eventually she learned how to walk.
Real good. Is there anything else you'd like to tell people about her? Tell me, what's her name?
Her name is Charlotte.
How'd she get the name?
Well, my sister named her.
Hey, that's one way. Well, Noah's done a real great job with his calf here. Let's go ahead and give Noah a nice big round of applause for the hard work that he's put in.
Margaret, Dale, they're going to take a picture right now, okay? Margaret and Dale Spencer are the sponsors of the Champion Bucket Bottle Calf. Again, that goes to Noah Confer. Congratulations, young man. Did a good job. Got a purple.
All right.
Okay, in the rate of gain contest, first place went to Aniston Poston. Her calf gained 3.46. Second place went to Jackson Fisher. He had a gain of 3.03. Third place went to Jolie Fisher, 3.01. We had a tie for third, excuse me, and another tie for third was Jackson Fisher. Fifth was Laney DeFries. Sixth went to Mackenzie Henneman. Seventh to Madison Burt. Eighth to Chloe Bruce. Ninth to William Pollock. And they had another tie in there, went to Talon Tipler. Congratulations to these kids on their rate of gain on their calves.
Thank you.
Before we get going, this young lady's got an important day coming up in August. Is that right, Sadie?
Right.
Where is that guy you're going to marry?
I don't know. Somewhere here.
Jake? Stand up. Come down here. I've pestered this guy for years.
I was hiding from you for a reason, Bob.
How many days, hours, and minutes have you got till you have to say, until you say I do? You don't have to.
Somewhere around a month.
About a month. August 26th, is that right?
Yep.
5:30?
Something like that.
Free food and everything for everybody?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. Congratulations, Jake. young lady here, he picked a good one. She's a good worker down here at the extension office, and Sadie, I've known her ever since she was a little pup. Congratulations to these kids. Hope it lasts many, many years. Okay, in this class we have our beginner, Talon Tippler. His calf weighs 1,220 pounds and had a gain of 268. He did a good job of feeding this calf, I think, didn't he?
That goes back 4 generations.
I was just informed this young man showed this big steer as a bottle calf last year.
Well, we're here in our first-time exhibitor class, as Bob had just mentioned. This young man, he said he was able to show him last year as a bottle calf, and he's done a real nice job with him. He's kept the feed bucket to him. His steer's grown well for him. He's just done a real nice job with this project here. Let's go ahead and give him a nice, great big round of applause for making his first appearance in the steer show.
Now we moved into our market heifer division. We only have 2 heifers in our market heifer division. We have a family competition here. First into the ring is Kyla Hart. Second into the ring is her brother, Brody Hart. These are market heifers. Kyla's heifer weighed 1069. Brody's heifer weighed 1128.
Purple and a blue. Here in our market heifer class, 2 nice entries here, and I guess when push comes to shove, I think it's just structure and balance is what sorts this pair of market heifers for me. The white heifer is going to go ahead and win the class. Super stout, one that's attractive in her makeup, and as I alluded to, when we put them in motion, she's the one that gets out and goes and holds herself together the best when she's on the move. A nice, complete type of market heifer there to go ahead and start the class. Young lady's heifer that's going to come in second here, not taking anything away from her. She's stout-made and big-topped. I like that about her. Just gets a little plainer about her appearance. Just like to balance her up, square her up in her hip structure when we compare her to the one that goes in front of her, but a good, useful type of market heifer as well. Let's go ahead and give these two exhibitors a nice hand, please.
Two nice market heifers there. Champion market heifer goes to Brody Hart. Reserve market heifer goes to Kyla Hart. Brody gets a purple, and Kyla got a blue. Champion Market Heifer was sponsored by AgriVision Equipment, and they're going to take the pictures of the sponsors and the beef calves after the selection of the Grand and Reserve overall. So the Champion Market Heifer was sponsored by AgriVision Equipment. Champion Beginner Market Beef was sponsored by Body Basics Chiropractic. Now in the ring is our only class of home-raised market steers. We have Jackson Fisher. His calf weighs 1120. And we have Madison Burt. Her calf weighs 1,079. It's our only class of home-raised beef.
Do you want to talk to me?
Yeah, just hang on here a second. Sponsoring the home-raised champion market steer is Rod and Janine Hart. We got our little beginner guy right here. Going to do a little interview with you. Is that all right?
Yes.
What's your name?
Talon Tippler.
Talon? Hey, that's a pretty good name.
Thank
You're a pretty good-looking guy. You know that?
Thank you.
Is that what the girls always tell you?
Yeah.
You're honest anyway, huh? What do you think about what do you like best about the Montgomery County Fair?
I get to see my friends and family.
See your friends and family. Did you show any other projects?
I have 4 pigs.
You had 4 pigs. How'd you do with them?
I got reserve grand champion.
You got reserve grand champion? Wow. Congratulations. You going to sell it tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know how you can get a lot of money?
Auction.
Yeah. When you go through the ring, cry a lot. They'll feel sorry for you and bid up. Hey, glad you came up here. And what do you like best about the fair?
Probably the animals.
The animals?
Yeah.
How's the food?
It's good.
Is it? How's your love life? Hey, I like you. You'll go a long way in life. Keep that good smile on your face. You got nice teeth. I got some new ones too, but mine come out at night. Good luck to you. Make sure you thank your judge here for giving you a purple ribbon. He's really a nice guy and he cares about the kids. So do I. We'll see ya.
Out here in our home-raised market calf division, market steer division, excuse me, one class that I always think is pretty neat and every county should have. It's always a chore to to raise one that's good enough to bring to town, in my opinion, and it takes some skill as a breeder, not only in the mating decision, but taking care of them from a day-to-day aspect and getting them through the summer and keeping them healthy and then keeping them on feed throughout the year. So I commend these exhibitors for doing a good job and hanging with their project here and bringing to town and showing off what they have. The young man steer is going to go ahead and win the class, one that balances up and just a really complete type of calf for me. He's good looking. He's got some added center dimension to him. You get your hands on him is where he really excels this class. He's got a big old ribeye in him, and he's got a nice degree of finish to him. When we set him in motion, one that gets about the ring, just a nice place to start here in the home-raised calf division. Not taking anything away from the young lady's steer here that comes in second. An attractive made steer, you like that about him. He's good on his feet and legs. He can get out and go. Just one that probably needs a few more days on feed, just needs powered up ever so slightly when we compare him to the steer that goes right above him. But two nice high-quality home-raised calves here in this division. Let's give them a nice round of applause for a job well done.
Champion home race steer goes to Jackson Fisher. Reserve goes to Madison Burt. Our first class of purchase steers, we have one in there, and that is William Pollock. His steer weighs 1,140 pounds and had a gain of 2.68.
A good single entry here in the start of our purchase market steer show, and this blue roan calf, one that's really sound and on his feet and legs and gets out and goes when we put him in motion. You get your hands on him, and obviously for a lightweight steer, he's got a nice degree of finish starting. Could probably use just a little bit more time on feed, but we'll keep going there and get him there in that aspect. But one that it sure has some on him, and no doubt about that. A steer that when he gets him stopped there from the side, maybe like to just tuck in that brisket a little bit and clean up that front end to balance him up and just give him a little bit more of a show ring look. But a steer here that's got some quality to him. He's done a nice job of growing for this young man as well. Let's go ahead and give him a nice round of applause.
First in that class was William Pollock. He receives a blue. In our next class here, Mackenzie Henneman with her red steer, weighs 1,261 pounds. Next is William Pollock. His steer weighs 1,274. And the black baldy there is Jolie Fisher. Her steer weighs 1,275.
In our second class of market steers here, I think one that sorts to the top pretty handily for me, kind of the combination of the steer, combination steer of the class. He's got the eye appeal, he's got the stoutness, he's got the presence of a show steer, and sure appreciate that about him. You get your hands on him, he's big topped, he's got a nice handle to him. When we evaluate finish, you get behind him and he doesn't disappoint you, and he carries that stoutness all the way down into his quarter and into his stifle. I sure appreciate that about him. He's not perfect in his structure. When we put him in motion, he just wants to get a little bit more timid in the way he plants those rear legs, but I think one that's sure acceptable in my opinion. The red steer here that comes in second is probably the best structured steer in the class. Another steer that's long-fronted and eye-appealing. I do appreciate that about him. I'd just like to redesign his hip structure. I'd like to square him up a little bit from them hooks to his pins. Pull that tail head up just ever so slightly to let him run with the one that wins the class. But a good functional steer that the young lady does a nice job getting him shown here in this class. The steer that rounds out the class, just a really nice meat and potatoes type steer here, if you will. One that's easy feeding. You gotta like his degree of finish when you get your hands on him. He's one that just doesn't give you quite as much balance and look when we view him from the side in comparison to the two steers that stand right above him. but let's be honest, that's a steer there that we take a whole pen full of if we're feeding cattle. Good job, young man, on getting him to town. Congratulations to these three. Let's give them a nice round of applause, if you would.
Thank you, Nate. First in that class went to Jolie Fisher with a purple. Second went to Mackenzie Henneman with a purple. Third went to William Pollock with a blue. We'll be coming in now with our third class of market steers. First in the ring is Lainey DeFries. Her steer weighs 1343. Next into the ring is Chloe Bruce. Her steer weighs 1321. Third into the ring is Aniston Poston. Her steer weighs 1347. I learned some information the other day. We were talking about the good old days. Dale, what was the lightest weight steer to ever be grand champion at the Montgomery County Fair? I found out what it was yesterday. The lightest weight steer that was ever grand champion at the Montgomery County Fair. Pardon? He weighed 780 pounds. It was a shorthorn. Back in the 60s. The Means girl showed him. Then, here's what's interesting. When you weighed in your calf at the first of the year, if he weighed over 600 pounds, he was out. So that calf gained 180 pounds in 9 months. I'll have to take that back. It wasn't 9 months. Elmo, when will your kids be in 4-H? 4 years? And then look out, huh?
Well, here's a really nice class of steers, folks. If you're sitting ringside, and I think 3 steers that you take them anywhere in the state of Iowa, and they're going to compete at their respected county fair. Just for the 2 steers that come in second and third, they kind of ran into a buzzsaw here at the top of the class. One's the steer here that goes ahead and leads off, one that you really got to appreciate, that just the completeness and the power that this guy brings to the table. He's good looking. He's good topped. He's sound when we put him in motion. You get behind him, he doesn't disappoint you. Nice place to start. We're going to get a little critical on him, maybe like to square that hip up ever so slightly, but I'll tell you what, that's a nice one to go ahead and lead the class. The steer here that comes in second, one that you got to like a lot of pieces about. I just wish he'd put them together in a little smoother package. He's stout-made, he's burly, he's monster-legged, got big feet. He's stout when you get behind him and you get your hands on him. He's just a little plainer about his front end. I'd like to square him up when he comes out of his, the way he comes out of his tail head there. He just wants to get a little bit round in his hip structure, but one that sure has some intriguing pieces there, just not quite the balance and the completeness as a steer that goes ahead and starts the class. Not taking anything away from the young lady here that's going to round out the class. Young lady, you got a nice steer. He's an eye-appealing calf. You get your hands on him. He's big-topped. He's stout. Doesn't have quite the finish that the two steers have right in front of him. And I think just in terms of structure, we'd like to relax him in the angle of his shoulder when we put him in motion. Just make him a little bit more freewheeling in comparison to the two that stand right above him. But I'll tell you what, an awful nice steer to go third. Let's give these exhibitors in this class a nice big round of applause, if you would.
In that class, first place went to Lainey DeFries, second place to Chloe Bruce, and third place to Aniston Poston. They all received a purple. That's our last class of purchased market steers. This is Jackson Fisher, and his steer weighs 1,496 pounds.
Single entry here to round out the market show, and obviously we're into these bigger weights, which is perfectly acceptable in today's cattle feeding environment. One that's long-bodied, he's stout-made, he's big-topped. You got to appreciate that about him. You put him in motion, and he sure handles his feet and legs good. Maybe from just a balance standpoint, not the most eye-appealing one we've seen all day. One that just is so long-bodied it almost detracts from him just a little bit. But once again, I tell you what, just when you get down to the nuts and bolts of feeding cattle and good livestock, this is one that puts a lot of good things together. Let's go ahead and congratulate this young man as well.
We want the class winners from the beginner beef and the heifers also getting ready as we bring in our purchase steers here. So.
Our first in that class went to Jackson Fisher, and he receives a purple. Our judge now will be selecting the champion and reserve purchase steers. First in the ring is William Pollock. His steer weighs 1140. Second one into the ring is Jolie Fisher. Her steer weighs 1275. Next to the end of the ring is Lainey DeFries. Her steer weighs 1343. And the fourth one into the ring is Jackson Fisher. His steer weighs 1496. Our judge will be selecting the champion and reserve purchased market steer. Sponsoring the champion purchase market steer is the Red Oak Express.
here in our purchase market steer drive. Really nice set of steers, top to bottom. The young man's roan steer that starts off the drive here, a really sound made, practical type steer. One that we just like to power up, balance up through that front 1/3 when he gets out here with the rest of them, but a good useful type of steer. The brockle-headed steer here that comes in second, very eye-appealing, square made. You got to appreciate that. He's got that show steer look and the added balance that sure draws your attention and makes him easy on the eyes. Like I said in class, when we put him in motion, he's not perfect on the way he handles his rear too, but sure adequate in that regard. Just a nice, good balanced type of steer here that comes out of the second class. The young lady's steer here that comes out of the third class, just a really, really nice, complete type of steer. Good looking, soft made, sound when we put him in motion. You get behind him, he sure doesn't disappoint you there. You get your hands on him, and that's where you really, really like him. He's got a nice degree of finish and a nice degree of cover. The young man steer here that rounds out the drive, long-bodied, stout-made, high-performing looking type of steer here in this particular class. As I mentioned, maybe doesn't have some of the bells and whistles as a couple right before him, but one that's just a good practical type of steer that that we'd all like to have on feed. I won't take too much of your time here in the crossbred steer drive. The steer that comes out of the third class, he'll be your champion. I think the real decision here in this particular drive is one that comes between on our reserve champion steer, or the reserve purchase market steer here, I guess. To me, if we could combine these two steers, I think we'd have the one that it would be a no-brainer, but there's sure some give and take. Like I mentioned before, you got to love the pattern of that steer that comes first. He's square, he's attractive, you got to appreciate that. Young ladies that comes next, he's a burly dude when you get your hands on him. I do like that about him. Monster-legged, you sure have to appreciate that. He's got some, you'd like to square him up. I mean, I'd like to fix his hip structure. I'd like to clean him up through that front 1/3. So I think the decision gets awfully close. But I guess for me, the brockle-headed steer is the one I prefer with the extra balance and the extra look and the extra completeness. He'll be your reserve champion crossbred steer. Let's go ahead and give her a nice round of applause.
Champion purchased steer goes to Lainey DeFries. Reserve goes to Jolie Fisher. Our judge now will be selecting the overall champion market animal. First one into the ring is Talon Tipler with our beginner beef. Second one into the ring is the champion market ever. That was Brody Hart. Third one into the ring is the champion home race steer, Madison Burt. Fourth one in the ring is the champion purchase steer, Lainey DeFries. Oh, it was Jackson, excuse me. I had that wrong. Champion home race steer was Jackson Fisher. Excuse me. I had that on my sheet right, Elmo, but I can't read. Our judge today has been Nate Ruby from Murray, Iowa. Nate is a Simmental breeder over there and farmer, and his family just got started, he told me, this year in 4-H, and they're a breeder of cattle, and he showed goats, the little guy did. And he did real good, but that's all right. It doesn't make any difference what you show, just so you do your best, right, Nate? I think our kids that have showed cattle today have really done their best, and again, they deserve a nice round of applause for having their cattle broke, presented really well, and presented themselves extremely well. Sponsoring the overall grand champion is Mr. Andrew Herzberg, VitaFirm Minerals, and our fair board president. Thank you for all what you've done and your support here at the fair, and the kids and the parents really appreciate all you guys have done for the fair, guys and women, excuse me. Here's our Judge Nate Ruby.
Well, I'd like to reiterate what Bob just said. You've had a great group of young people here that have come through the ring. They've done a nice job with their calves. They've got them broke. We haven't had any renegades, and they've been efficient getting them in and out of the ring. I know there's not a lot of numbers here, and as I was talking to Bob, it's not just this county. Our county's down. My home county, I grew up in north central Iowa, and there used to be a couple hundred lead calves. They're down to 30. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with the way rural America is now. But you people that are showing these calves, if you can encourage a neighbor or another 4-H member or what have you that's coming up to go ahead and get a beef project and keep this deal going, it's sure important, I think, in developing our young people. There's a great sense of responsibility that's learned taking care of these animals. It is a lot of work, but guess what? Life's a lot of work, and it's a good tool and a good vessel to prepare these young people when they get out into the workforce. They can take the tools and the work ethic that they've learned on their 4-H project and take it and move it forward and help them be successful in the game of life. Here in our champion lineup, the young man, I guess he should get a trophy just for surviving his interview with Bob. But he's got a nice returning bottle calf there, and he's to be commended to hanging with this project and getting him back here to the show. We get him out here in this drive. He's just maybe one that doesn't balance up quite as nice, and one that doesn't have quite the bells and whistles as a few of the other ones that are out here in the drive. But I'll tell you what, he's put the work in, and he's maintained it, and he's done a good job with his project. Our champion market heifer here sure got a lot of things you like about her. She's big-footed when you started analyzing her at the ground. She's got some bone to her. You get behind her, she's stout-made, she's burly. I like that about her. Maybe like just to clean her up about her head and neck, give her a little bit more eye appeal. From that standpoint, she can get a little low in her ear set. And maybe just when we're talking about a true market animal, maybe like to hang just a little bit more weight on that one. But I'll tell you what, when you get your hands on her, she's one that sure doesn't disappoint you. She's big top, you stand behind her, she's big and thick-ended, and I like that about her. And in that particular class, when we put her in motion is where she separated herself from the other heifer that was in that particular division. In the home raised class here, the young man with the brockle-headed steer, one that you got to appreciate. And like I said in class, those home raised cattle, they should mean a little bit more. They're the ones that are born and raised on your farm, and the extra care it takes from the time they're born to the time to get them here. And this young man's done a nice job with that steer. He's put in some time at home with the brush. The steer's got a nice hair coat there, and it sure helps him balance up, and it ties together his pieces, and I'm sure I would like to commend him for doing that. He does a nice job of getting him stuck. Another steer that in the championship lineup maybe not quite some of the bells and whistles either of one on either end of him there, but just a good solid steer that's stout-made. He's sound, he's attractive, and he does a lot of things right and checks a lot of boxes. And then we move into our champion purchase crossbred steer here, one that you just have to appreciate. I think if you guys are sitting ringside and you can't find that one, we probably need to, we're not going to agree on a whole lot. He's one that comes here and just kind of lays the hammer down. He's good looking, he's good at the ground, he's chubby made, he's good bellied. You get behind him and he's stout and you get your hands on him and you really like him. Congratulations, young lady, you're going to be the champion steer. Let's go ahead and give her a nice round of applause. We would bring in the reserve from that particular division, and obviously I've talked to him a couple times already, but one that you sure got to like that calf. He puts together a lot of things. He balances up nice. He gives you a great look when we view him from the side. When that young lady gets him propped up, he's square and good looking. Just checks a lot of boxes, and I think he's the one that best follows our champion steer. Young lady will go ahead and be your reserve champion steer as well. Market animal. Let's give her a nice round of applause.
Good job. Congratulations. Yep.
Showing the grand champion market steer, or market animal, excuse me, goes to Laney DeFries. And reserve goes to Jolie Fisher. Congratulations to these two young ladies and to all the other kids that showed cattle today. They're going to take pictures now. The reserve grand was sponsored by Mark Lidell's auction service. If they're here, want you back there for pictures, and also anybody that sponsored the other market cattle. When they get done with pictures, well, then we'll start showmanship.
Keep up the good work. Lost a lot, haven't we? Yeah, we have.
Here's some pictures when I was in 4-H. Yeah, over on the ball diamond.
Yeah.
29 in the class. Isn't that a big one?
Yeah. About waist high. Yeah. I've got a picture at home. That was in the newspaper. Of a grand champion of American Royal. And they took him in this china shop down in Kansas City. was a bull. I think the grand champion bull, but it's a Hereford bull. It was just about this size.
Years ago, I bought a steer off him.
Yep. Off Allen. Yep.
I sent him to a guy in Oklahoma. He was a steer. In Oklahoma City. That guy come up and he got, I don't know, 15, 18 calves off me. They were free. And I remember that Charlotte deer. I really liked that Charlotte deer. He was a different kind. He was good. He was modern frame, big butted. I've never seen him.
No. Oh, yeah. And remember when we used to have, I think it was 2.5 pounds to get a blue ribbon. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You're not going to be in the cattle business very long. You were in the cattle business. Yeah.
they just can't go along with it. Two labs, ready games. Yeah. You take care. Any softer, please.
Don't fall.
Huh?
Don't fall.
Not yet, anyway.
Take it easy.
Well, they've got the pictures done for now, and senior showman, please come to the ring, all of you that are going to compete for senior showmanship. That would be Lainey DeFries, Kyla Hart, Daisy Henneman, and Delaney Yates. Bring your cattle to the ring if you're going to compete for senior showmanship. Excuse me, I guess on the page before, where we're, okay. Another senior showman is Chloe Bruce. Thanks for showing me that. Okay, we're ready for the senior showmanship. If you're going to compete in the senior showmanship, bring your calves into the ring. I guess we just got 3 competing in the senior showmanship. Those that are wanting to compete in the junior and intermediate showmanship, for bringing your calves up to the show ring, that's Madison Burt, Jackson Fisher, Jolie Fisher, Brody Hart, Mackenzie Henneman, William Pollock, Aniston Poston, and Taylor Yates. Nate.
Hello, young lady.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? Down in front of me, lady.
Well, thank you to these 3 senior showmen for coming out here. In the showmanship division, it's something I've kind of paid attention to all day long. It makes it a little bit more efficient when it comes time to for our showmanship class. I guess what I'm looking for here in these showmen in the showmanship division is obviously they got to have their calf set up to the best of their ability first and foremost. I want their calf on point at all times. Posture, how they handle themselves, I think that's important. You want to do a good job, you want to look professional, but you don't want to distract from your calf as well. And also intensity. I want when somebody comes out here, I want them looking with their game face on, and because it is a competition. It's a competition from the time they step in the ring, and so I want them ready to roll, and I want them to do a good job from the time they step in the ring till the time they leave, and I want them to be serious about it. And I think we've seen a lot of good showmen come through the ring today. But I think there's one out here that does a great job. The young lady that has the champion steer, that he's been on point all day. He's never given me a bad look. She's done a real good job with him. She's got a really nice calf. You can tell she's put the time in at home to get that calf going. That's an awful nice calf, and if he didn't have a showman that was worthy, he sure wouldn't look as good as he did. But let's go ahead and congratulate this young lady. She'll be your champion senior showman. Thanks for coming out, bro. Do a good job, okay? Keep up the good work.
Three excellent senior show ladies there. Champion went to Lainey DeFries. She'll be your champion senior showman. Now we have the junior intermediates coming in. We'll have quite a few in here for the judge to look through.
That was your champion Peter calf last year.
Nate, I was just informed that red steer, he was a champion feeder calf last year. Boy, hasn't she done a good job with that.
Junior after this or no?
There's a
Is there a junior
beginner.
beginner? Let's give a big round of applause to our intermediate showman for taking the time to coming out here. To me, I guess it, once again, been watching all day, and I think the take-home message here in our intermediate division is there's not a bad showman out here, right? I think all these kids that are out here are doing a good job, and it's a little bit of nitpicking on me. First and foremost, I guess, these cattle, you want to train them so you can walk them into it. and your stick should be used for kind of emergency purposes only if you're moving their feet, maybe hooking the top or knocking their tail back into them, and then just kind of rubbing them and keeping them satisfied and keeping them calm. So that is probably one of the biggest things I look at is when we're setting these things up is can they walk their calf into it where they need to be, and then are they using their stick in the right place? And I think in this particular vision, that is what separates the top ones from the ones that aren't going to win today. But I just want to reiterate, I think all you kids that are out here, thanks for taking the time to do it. You're doing a good job. You're presenting your animals extremely, extremely well, and you're to be commended for that. Just keep coming, keep going, keep hustling, and we can only pick one today, but I'm sure happy with the quality of young people you got out here and the quality showmen that you do have. That being said, I think there's one out here that's just her calf's never given me a bad look all day long as well, and I'll be the young lady at the beginning of the lineup. That thing's on point from the time she comes in till the time she leaves. Give her a nice round of applause, please.
Good job. Congratulations. Yep.
Champion intermediate showman went to Jolie Fisher. Congratulations to her. Now we're going to have the beginner showmanship. We have 2 exhibitors in there. Just one coming in. Not a hard class here, Nate.
Here's another, I guess, a class that I can't get wrong. This young man, obviously, with our bucket calf, he comes out and does a good job. These bottle calves are not an easy project sometimes to lead. Everything goes right at home, and then you get them out here in the show, and it doesn't work the way you want it to. But he told me his plan is to bring her back next year, and he said he's got his show stick ready, and he's going to come and be ready to roll. So let's go ahead and give him a nice round of applause for coming out here.
Thank you, Nate. Now be your last job of the day, Nate, picking the Supreme Champion Showman. Again, I think our judge, Mr. Nate Ruby, deserves a nice round of applause. He's been good with the kids. He knows his cattle and has explained himself very, very good. If you get a chance, the way things are in this world today, look at this young lady's t-shirt. Read what it says on the t-shirt, and that is something there, young lady. Stand up and read it, or show them what your t-shirt says. Yay. I seen that t-shirt and I thought, wow, as mixed up as our country is today, that's good. Again, we want to thank our superintendents, Austin Sorensen and Elmo Gray, and the young ladies back there in the extension that keeps all the records and everything, and our ribbon girls. And we just want to thank all the sponsors and our fair board. And again, we got one of the better buildings in the country to show our cattle in. If you're not doing anything this afternoon, Denny Hartstack said he's buying everybody a piece of pie and homemade ice cream over here at the White Fair building. Is that right? We won't tell him, though, that the Farm Bureau is sponsoring, giving away the pie, and the Fisher family is making the homemade ice cream, though, right?
If any of you will be around later this afternoon at 2 o'clock, we will be choosing a Supreme Champion Showman between sheep, goats, swine, and cattle. The 4 representatives from each of those species will be competing for an overall Supreme Showman. So if you're around at 2 o'clock this afternoon, just meet back up here for a good competition between 4 great showmen.
That's at 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock for overall Supreme Showman. That could be really interesting.
Well, once again, everybody, thanks for having me today. It's been fun. You guys ordered good weather. And one thing I did forget to mention, as Bob says, your facility here, this building is some sort of awesome. You guys, I don't know, hopefully you realize how lucky you have it and how good this thing is. This is second to none. The airflow is great. You got plenty of room. The lighting's awesome. It's been a great place to evaluate, and I'd sure encourage you to thank the people behind whoever got this done, because in our county, over at Clark County, it's a newer fairgrounds, but the design is not great, and I sure wish we had something like this and to replace what we had. But this is a wonderful facility, and it's been a pleasure to work here today. That being said, this is the hardest job I've had so far, right? I mean, sorting the cattle is the easy part. When we get down here to showmanship, then I start having to pick on the kids, and I sure don't like to do that. It's a lot easier to pick on a calf than a kid and start drawing a line, and somebody gets to win and somebody doesn't, and it just comes down to nitpicking, and it'll obviously come down between these 2 young ladies out here out front, and with that being said, either one of them could show anything for me any day, anywhere. They do an outstanding job, right? They can go anywhere, any show, county, state, national, and compete on that level. And for that, they're going to be commended. I'll tell the person that doesn't win what I'd like fixed, just a little bit, a couple nitpick items, but it comes down to splitting hairs, right? It's ever so close, especially at this level and when they're this good. But if you would, let's give them a nice big round of applause, and I'll pick your champion. And be proud of what you have here. They're really, really outstanding. Congratulations. Good job. You do a really, really great job. You know you do, okay? Every now and then, when it's left front, you'll want to get it back